across our beloved Kyber Empire. It's great to be in the Empire today. You're watching Arnold Holinet News, the only news you'll ever need because you have no other choice. And today, it's finally here. We kind of had several weeks heads up, but the brand new Conquest unit coming to Galaxies for this next week of Conquest is starting off with Dark Trooper Moff Gideon. A while ago, we already got a heads up saying, hey, yeah, Imperial Remnants, there's a bigger future for them. And they're bringing in Gideon to do just that. It's funny enough, this year, whole entire year, dark side only units. Now, to be fair, we're probably not going to unlock this guy till like January 2024, late December, however the scheduling works out. But a whole year of just dark side conquest announcement. I got a big problem though. Oh man, come take a look with me. I'm really excited to have this character in game. It's territory war design though. I think this is going to be a larger conversation about just territory wars in general. But for me, historically, territory war designed only characters haven't landed well. Boba Fett, Sign, and Django, I don't really see anyone use them in my neck of the woods. Trench, okay, but you can't convince me though that things like Captain Rex, Marin, Zori weren't more impactful than Trench. Those guys were just marquee characters, things you can get fairly easily up and running within a certain period of time. Conquest unit like Trench, Boba Fett, Son of Django, multi-year long process or conquest, and they're kind of snoozy. But I think, you know, part of the problem is that we have here is that territories just doesn't feel important enough. My guild, and I'll put a card in the top right-hand corner in case you missed it, earlier on this year, my guild, one of the top guilds in the game period, they're like, you know, we're kind of burnt out on the datacrons, the territory war. It's such an outdated game mode, requires so much coordination on the high end. I didn't play territories from May of this year till like just like a week or two ago, and I felt like I didn't miss anything. If it was Grand Arena, if I didn't play Grand Arena from May to September, I'd maybe be missing out on actual material important stuff that's needed to progress your account forward. What did I miss? A couple Relic 9s? I can get that into Crate Dragon raid rewards inside the shipments, and it's like it's not really all that important. So I think this is more of a bigger issue that territories just doesn't feel important. I think the game is way overdue for a real overhaul to make the game mode more enjoyable, more important in the game. So I wish I had mega hype, but I'm worried that this is going to be a Trench 2.0, and for me, the guy's kind of a dud. You know, the stuff he does in territories, I could do with the same with other budget-friendly stuff that doesn't require conquest units in Grand Arena. What a joke. Wampa Imperial Troopers run over them, and I mean, I could beat at least some Tusken teams. I guess that's something. Anyways, point aside, I think Captain Rex is more of a conquest unit than Trench and Zori and Marin. The list goes on and on. Again, I just wanted to start that off with a mini territory wars rant. I want to enjoy territory war Omicrons more, but unfortunately, I'm just not seeing it. So just again, a reminder, this is going to be starting off in our next conquest, which is going to be starting up this upcoming Monday. And they're saying in territories, he's going to thrive, leading the Imperial Remnants. Now, currently with the Scout Trooper and the current Moff Gideon we have, I actually kind of like it for a lot of the end game new teams that are showing up. Gideon with the Imperial Remnants is pretty solid. I had Dark Trooper hit for like 400,000 opening play with the Imperial Remnants. So it's going to be kind of curious to see how this is going to actually work with it. But they did throw out a few things. Although this guy is going to be designed for Grand Arena, as they say here, he's going to thrive in territory wars with Imperial Remnants in Grand Arena. They're saying that he has some Mandalorian synergy, which could be an option to use. I'm going to maybe take it a step further, maybe a possibility. I don't want to get you guys too excited. They didn't say anything about Lord Vader here. Maybe potentially this could be something useful with Lord Vader inside a Grand Arena. And they also said they know that Dark Trooper is important to the Veer's lead squad. So they're trying to make sure Dark Trooper Moff Gideon's going to make sure he's kind of got that Dark Trooper-ish type of feel to him. And also, I want to bring this up here. So it works effectively with Super Commando. There's going to be a touch-up coming. I'm really excited about that. And Gar Suxon under Molly. So we gotta wait and see. There's not the whole picture. You know, if this guy turns out to be decent in Grand Arena with Maul, cool. But the problem is Maul's way too important for Lord Vader, and a lot of people are using Maul with Malicos, Seer Junis. So I don't know if I'll be able to use this. So we'll have to kind of wait and see how that handles it. Anyways, Moff Gideon's badass Dark Trooper Phase 4 armor in the Mandalorian Season 3. Again, cool. I feel like it was kind of came and went a little too quickly. Giancarlo Esposito, massive fan of the guy, also brings the energy to the role, and we want the capture and the abilities. I didn't, you know, it's hard. Sometimes I forget how much stuff this guy was in. I did a Payday marathon this weekend with my brothers, and because Payday 3 wasn't working, I played Payday 2. Like, holy crap, I forgot Giancarlo Esposito was inside of Payday 2. So inspired by a self-cloning Moff Gideon likes to work with other Moff Gideons. Finally, an in-universe explanation why two versions of the same character are on the same squad. So wait, does that mean the Dark Trooper Gideon we saw in Mandalorian Season 3 wasn't the real Moff Gideon? Did you just accidentally leak the plot of Mandalorian Season 3 or 4? I don't know. Somehow, he has returned. Anyways, let's get into the kit. I kind of had probably ranted a bit too much. I want territories to be more important in the game. Anyways, basic ability, Force Lance. Deal physical damage to target enemy, gain 1 stack of insight, so kind of bringing that insight mechanic back that his normal version has, only going up to max of 4, so again, just like the normal version of Gideon has, until the end of the encounter. And if the target has daze, offense down, or stagger, you stun them for 1 turn. Okay, stun to basic, not too bad. This attack deals 10% more damage for each debuff on the target enemy. So a few things. Lord Vader applies daze onto AoE. I know I'm already jumped to the Lord Vader conclusion. I'm just trying to convince myself I'll be able to use this guy. Like Trench, I don't have a big usage for Trench. I mean, maybe Territory Wars, but again, who cares about that really? So 10% more damage for each debuff on target enemy. So that's a lot of debuffs that Lord Vader team throws down. Lord Vader also has daze, so you know, there could be something there. There could be something there. I'm just trying to show there might be possibilities. I'm trying to convince myself this won't be a Trench 2.0 because man, Trench was a letdown for a conquest unit, and there's just so many better teams that just mathematically are just better than Trench that don't require crazy Omicrons and they're working all type of game modes. Can you guys tell I have a beef with Territory Wars? Special 1, Strategic Onslaught, and here comes those Omicrons. Cooldown of 3 unlocks that gear to tier 2. Deal physical damage to all enemies. Cool. Remove 10% trigger for each stack of insight and Dark Trooper Moff Gideon, so 40% potentially. Can't be evaded, but it could be resisted potentially. Moff Gideon loses all stacks of insight, so they rebuild it again. So in Territory Wars, though, deal additional true damage and remove an additional 10% turner for each stack of insight Dark Trooper Moff Gideon has, so potentially 80% turner. Inflict all enemies of healing immunity for 2 turns, which can't be dispelled or resisted. So okay, all right, it sounds good. Again, I assume it's going to be all right in territories. They did mention that, you know, he could be helpful for maybe handling some pesky Mara Jade, Juhani, Omicron squads. To be fair, though, the Mara Jade, Juhani, Omicron squads already, Ahsoka Tano Fulcrum can solo those teams. So it's, yeah, this also comes to a bigger issue. I think we have too many teams and not enough places to use them. You know, like, yeah, Boba Fett's not a joke, can maybe counter Lord Vader, but there's already other better ways of handling Lord Vader. And, you know, it's tough. You know, I think maybe an expansion's due, but I don't know. I don't want to see different territories. Territories is already a mess of a game mode in terms of coordination. Anyways, special number 2, Unwavering Presence. A Zeta, cooldown of 4. 4, there we go. I almost forgot how to count the 4 there. All allies gain accuracy up, defense up for 3 turns. Remember, the Imperial Remnant crew is already fairly beefy as it is, so curious to see how this will work out. Dark Trooper Moff Gideon taunts for 2 turns. So although I don't think there was even a tag on the little infographic. Oh, there it is. Yeah, right there. Tank leader Imperial. There we go. I don't know why. I was expecting it to be on the top, like, you know, how characters are. Anyways, moving on. Tactical scanners are a little broken there. So he gets taunt for 2 turns, which is cool. Can't be dispelled or prevented. That's pretty solid. You know, undispellable taunting tank. Kind of like Master Luke Skywalker. Recovers 30% health and protection, calls target other ally. 2 assists. So here we got Dark Trooper 2 assists, but they said they didn't want to pull Dark Trooper away, so a little confused there. If Dark Trooper Moff Gideon's in the leader slot, defeated Imperial Remnant allies are revived with 100% health and protection and stealth for 2 turns. Otherwise, defeated Dark Side Mandalorian allies are revived with 30% health and protection and gain retribution for 2 turns. So they've already kind of said they're going to be doing something with Gar Sux and Imperial Super Commando, and obviously Maul's the other Dark Side Mandalorian, and then Canderous is probably really important as well, kind of really important to get Maul going, and then Dark Trooper himself. So the possibility of reviving those characters, it sounds cool. You revive Mandalorian allies with 30% max health and protection and gain retribution for 2 turns. So it sounds like a nice opportunity to bring those Mandalorians from the graveyard. I guess Jango Fett too could use, but Jango Fett could be used with Trench on. I gotta stop bringing a conversation. It's disappointing. Nonetheless, cool ability. I like it. I think this is where we really start seeing some opportunities with other types of teams he might work with outside of territories. And his unique ability, before we get to leader ability, Dark Trooper Beskar Armor, Zeta, Omicron. Dark Trooper Moff Gideon has 100% critical avoidance. Cool. 50% defense. Nice. 30% max health and protection. Sweet. So it seems like a very durable character. At the end of his turn, he recovers 30% protection. Whenever Dark Trooper Moff Gideon would be defeated, if he has at least 4 stacks of insight, he recovers 100% health loses all stacks of insight, and the weakest non-galactic legend ally is defeated instead. So kind of curious, being able to just basically sacrifice someone else on the team. Kind of dirty if you ask me, but you know, you can potentially revive them. So going to be kind of curious to see, you know, so it doesn't say that this revive, you know, you can't revive anymore. You could still revive, it seems like. If the allied leader's a dark side Mandalorian, so most likely Maul, unless somehow Gar sucks and turns out to be great. Dark Trooper Moff Gideon gains 25% offense. Dark side Mandalorian allies cover 20% protection at the end of their turn. Again, that sounds pretty cool, but again, the problem is Lord Vader without Maul is absolutely nothing. It's just like, I feel like almost any team can beat him at that point, you know. So I want to use Maul. He's so good, but I feel like he's stuck keeping Lord Vader semi-relevant. Really frustrating. So yeah, gosh, I kind of wish I didn't have Lord Vader at this point. Unless just bring Lord Vader on offense, but then, gosh, that's a whole other nightmare of an issue happening there. While in territories, man, I can't wait. I know I'm going to get a lot of TikTok people that absolutely adore Lord Vader. I'm happy if you guys are that. I'm happy you enjoy him. I just despise the guy. Dark Trooper Moff Gideon gains an additional 30% max health and recovers 100% protection on his first turn. All right. So he eats up all those big opening blasts and then boom, 100% protection his first turn, so kind of cool. He begins the battle with taunt for 2 turns, so he's going to be a pre-taunting character, which can't be dispelled or prevented, and gains 4 stacks of insight. Whenever he receives damage, he gains a stack of insight, maximum 4, until the end of the encounter. So again, it sounds cool for a tank-like character. You want stuff like that. You want a way to just keep recovering all this protection on it. It seems like a really beefy character. Kind of wonder where the damage is coming from, because they're saying that, oh yeah, if you're going to use him without Dark Trooper's where the damage is coming from. But hey, we still got a leadership ability we got to look through. Leadership, Shadow Contingency, Zeta. No, oh yeah, I think there's an Omicron here too. They just forgot to list it up there. Non-droid Imperial Remnant allies have a 75% critical chance, critical damage, defense, and offense. So not going to be given to Dark Trooper, because again, they want him not to be used to Dark Trooper. This is where they're probably making it so maybe he can hit pretty darn hard. That's a big boost, almost doubling your critical damage and offense right there. If all allies are Imperial Remnants at the start of the battle, so you'd have this Gideon, the other Gideon, Scout Trooper, Stormtrooper, Death Trooper, that's what I'm guessing it's looking like here. Whenever an ally loses bonus turn meter or gains a bonus turn, they recover that much health and protection. Ooh, man, so that's pretty. So if you lost 100% turn meter, ooh, that's a lot of health recovery and protection. That sounds like fun. It sounds like fun, right? Whenever an enemy gains bonus turn meter or a bonus turn, they lose 10% defense, offense, and turn meter until the end of their turn. Man, okay. I'm liking that. Okay. Whenever Dark Trooper Moff Gideon uses a special ability, all allies gain 10% offense and defense until the end of the encounter. I want to read this first. I want to kind of tie it together in a moment here. Whenever Dark Trooper Moff Gideon uses a special ability, okay, we already said that. 10% offense and defense, which is constantly stacking until the end of the encounter. Then whenever Dark Trooper Moff Gideon begins his turn, all allied Moff Gideons gain 1 stack of insight until the end of the encounter. And the first time each other ally is defeated, each encounter, Imperial Remnant allies gain 100% turn meter. So keep this in mind. You're going to be using both Gideons together. And what is the other Gideon really known for? A variety of things, of course, but most importantly, turn meter resets. So if you're making your team lose 100% turn meter, whatever it might be, with Moff Gideon, the other Moff Gideon, they recover a ton of health protection. So now the older Moff Gideon is kind of like a passive, healer for the team. So that's kind of a big deal. So it's gonna be kind of interesting to see how that kind of all pans out here. So I'm seeing why we want to have both Gideons on the field. But furthermore, when in Territory Wars, God, I love reading that. When in territories, all that excitement just bubbles up. Don't you see it? Non-droid Imperial Remnant allies have 75% health, mastery, big chunk of stuff right there, 30 speed. And whenever an Imperial Remnant ally taunts, so, himself perhaps, dispel all debuffs from all allies and all buffs from all enemies. So when Gary, the Stormtrooper, taunts, yeah, big buff dispel. When he's taunting, big buff dispel. Whenever an Imperial Remnant ally is revived, grant them a bonus turn. So it's going to pair well with his other abilities that we read. And in case you needed a little reminder, Insight abilities gain additional effects based on a number of stacks. So like turn meter removal, for example, that we showcase. So overall, oh man, I want to be more hyped. I'm hoping I'm actually going to have my expectations exceeded, but I have a bad track record of Territory War characters like Boba Fett, Son of Jango. Thank goodness at least there's a Tusken Omicron, but just for 3v3 Grand Arena. And it's kind of sad. The best Tusken lineup in 3v3 is Tusken Raider Omicron not Boba Fett Sign of Django. So now I feel like lately I'm not using Boba Fett Sign of Django again. I'm not using him in Territory Wars. Trench, I'm not really using that guy in Grand Arena or Territory Wars. So I'm hoping I can be, my expectations will be exceeded. There's possibility of Lord Vader, maybe a possibility with Mandalorians and Grand Arena, and I'm hoping he's maybe a bigger deal in Territory Wars, so we're actually using him a bit more often, at least like Grand Inquisitor. Well, thanks to Reva, we're using Grand Inquisitor a lot because, right, Reva's amazing. Grand Inquisitor's got a lot of Omicron specified for Territory Wars, so yeah, but otherwise, Conquest Territory units have just had a bad track record. For me personally, again, if you like those guys, more power to you, but I think it's kind of a fact that they're not the best. Again, there's a personal side. If you love it, it's cool. There's a personal truth and there's like an actual truth. I think the actual truth is they're just not worth getting over other type of things. I know plenty of people who got trenched. He just left at level 1. They're like, yeah, I'm not missing anything. Anyways, passing the ball over to you guys. Are you hyped about this character? I want to be more hyped. I think there's possibilities, though. Let's keep our mind open. We have a couple months before we get him. We can do some fun theory crafting earlier on. Great to see Moff Gideon. Another reason to see John Carl in the game. Just like it's always great to see you guys every single day, because it makes me want to say how it's great to be in the Empire. Hold it. Today.